Chapter 843. Huh? I'll pull down their attractiveness index? Yi Mu Fan raged. You're pulling down all three of our IQ, alright? Before the two of them could fight more, Yi Wanwan rushed over and pulled them apart. Alright, hurry and get changed. Gong Su scoffed coldly and leaned over to Yi Wanwan. Yi, let's change together. Yi Wanwan was speechless. Are you in primary school, kid? Why do we have to go together? Before Yi Mu Fan was triggered, Yi Wanwan hurriedly said, You guys go ahead first. I have something I want to discuss with Chief Editor Chai. How could I even change with them? After some time, the four people finally changed their outfits and walked out of the dressing room one after another. When the four people appeared before everyone at the same time, all the staff in the studio let out a gasp. Oh God, this is too pleasing to the eye. Indeed, a man was most attractive when he was in formal wear. Yi Bai and Felix's appearances weren't in the least bit inferior to the two artists. The four of them had their own individual characteristics when they stood together. Gong Su was brash and showy, Luo Chen was calm and introverted, Felix was talented and charming while Yi Bai was noble and languid. When the four of them stood together wearing the same suit, it was like a painting. It was simply pleasing to the eyes. Xiao Yutong's blood was ignited once again. She took her camera and said excitedly, Let's do this, Mr. Yi. You'll sit in the middle with Gong Su on your right and Luo Chen on your left. Felix moved slightly to the back. Mr. Yi, you don't have to change your expression. Just relax and remain casual. Yes. That's the way. Perfect. Click, click. The clicking of the camera kept going and Xiao Yutong was completely focused on her work. Initially, she wanted to just take one photo for their publicity, but she ended up spending a long time on the shot. Xiao Yutong showed the photos to Chief Editor Chai and said excitedly, Chief Editor, look at these. What do you think? Chai Yong-li quickly browsed through the photos on the camera and was surprised. He immediately walked over to Yi Wanwan. Mr. Yi, could we pick a few of these photos and insert them in this interview? Yi Wanwan replied instantly, Of course. They were promoting their future company for free, so why not? Following the shooting, Luo Chen and Gong Su followed Vivi magazine to S-City for the outdoor shoot and the photo shoot for the cover ended smoothly. Yi Wanwan and Yi Mu Fan registered the company, rented an office building, then put up recruitment notices online to form a crew. At the same time, Dazzling Media was trying to squeeze out the last bit of value from Gong Su and Luo Chen. They spared no effort in using these two people to increase hype and tried various ways to beat them down. They told everyone in the industry to not work with them and banned the artists in worldwide from being associated with them in any way. As one of the leaders in the industry that was as equally established as Emperor Sky, many people gave face to worldwide. As a result, the new company was thrown into a difficult situation the moment it was set up and didn't get a single assignment to date. The only project they had was a sanitary towel advertisement. Gong Su laid on the sofa and shook his legs. He didn't care at all. Why are you guys looking so glum? It's still an assignment, right? What's wrong with a sanitary towel ad? I'll do it. Who said only female artists can accept a sanitary towel advertisement? Luo Chen glanced at Gong Su. I'll do it, Gong Su glared at him. Move aside. At least young master has helped my girlfriends in buying them before. You're just a virgin. How could you even think of endorsing a sanitary towel ad? Do you know what they look like? You'd be cheating the consumers. Do you know that? Chapter 844. Luo Chen was speechless. Yi Wanwan looked at Gong Su. Are you sure you want to take this? Actually, she also thought this advertisement could be done. Although there weren't any examples now, in the near future, there would be quite a few male artists who endorsed female products. Also, most of them were popular newbies and the results weren't bad. It was just that there wasn't anybody right now who was the pioneer in doing these kinds of endorsements. Gong Su rolled his eyes and giggled. Sure, but boss, I'm making such a huge sacrifice this time and taking so much for the team. Can I get a reward? Yi Wanwan, I really don't see which part of him is suffering. What reward do you want? Other than junk food. Gong Su hung his head low when he heard the last four words. No junk food then, I want some meat. Yi Wanwan, can't you have other requests? Upon seeing how pitiful Gong Su was, Yi Wanwan's heart softened. Okay. At night, at a certain fashion party, the ballroom was filled with people in perfumed clothes and gorgeous hair. It was a grand party and fashion icons from all walks of life and superstars were gathered in one place. In the past, Chai Yong-li had people all around him, but at this moment, he was alone with just a photographer, Xiao Yutong, next to him. In contrast, the chief editor of beauty magazine, Liang Chong, was surrounded by stars greeting him and speaking highly of him. This upcoming issue of Beauty hadn't even been officially put up for sale, yet it was already so popular and Liang Chong's status as the chief editor had risen as well. Congratulations, Chief Editor Liang. Seems like the sales for this issue will break the record again. It's been hard for the magazine industry these 2 years, but the pre-orders for Beauty have already reached close to 20,000 copies. Aside from Chief Editor Liang, who would have been able to achieve this? Liang Chong laughed. Everyone, you're too kind. It's all thanks to you guys for giving me face. Oh yes, who did Vivi invite for their cover shoot this time? Seem like the movie queen you see Faye? Someone asked. Beauty magazine's photographer, Yaoru, glanced in Chai Yong-li's direction on purpose and spoke loftily. Si Fei already ended her contract with them. She only agreed to be on the cover for 1 week because of their past relations, but that Chai Yong-li went overboard and had all sorts of requests that pissed Si Fei off, so she didn't do the shoot in the end. She just confirmed her collaboration with us for the next issue. Tisk, that's too much, huh? Chai Yong-li's concepts have long been outdated, yet he still pretended to be smart and gave advice to the movie queen. No wonder she was mad and wants to collaborate with Beauty instead. This is a wise choice. Xiao Yutong glanced coldly at the group of people around Liang Chong. In the past, these people were the ones who admired Chai Yong-li's attitude for demanding perfection, but right now, they were saying he was pretending to be smart. It was like this in this industry, there weren't any forever friends, only forever benefits. Chai Yong-li brushed them off. He was already used to such situations. He asked Xiao Yutong, have you prepared the pre-orders and announcement for this issue? Xiao Yutong nodded. I prepared them already. Finally, they managed to catch up and wouldn't have a blank issue. Otherwise, Vivi would really lose face this time. Too bad Vivi already lost its influence and would never be able to return to its former glory. Right at this moment, Kai Yong-sheng and Lucy Yang entered the ballroom. The two of them stole the limelight and everyone went up to chat with them the moment they arrived. Kai Yong-sheng had a wide smile as he walked over with Lucy Yang. Chief Editor Liang, congratulations on the huge sales volumes. Liang Chong was in a good mood and he raised his glass. Director Kai, let me give you a toast. After all, it's all thanks to Director Kai's good luck that our magazine exploded in sales and Lucy did outstandingly well too. Chapter 845 Lucy Yang replied humbly, Nah, all the credit goes to Chief Editor Liang and the photographer. Kai Yong-sheng was over the moon. Chief Editor Liang, you're too kind. I hope we'll have more opportunities to collaborate in the future. Liang Chong hurriedly said, Of course. It's an honor to work alongside a capable manager like Director Kai. Everybody was tossing back toast after toast and engaging in small talk when there was a sudden silence in the air. At the door, Yi Wanwan, Yi Mu Fan, Gong Su, and Luo Chen walked in. Chai Yong-li was the one who helped them get the tickets. Otherwise, the host wouldn't have invited them because of Worldwide's ban. Xiao Yutong waved. Mr. Yi, over here. Yi Wanwan and the others walked over. Yutong Jia, you look beautiful. Xiao Yutong blushed. Thank you. The four of you are the good-looking ones. My eyes were completely blinded by you guys. Upon seeing Yi Wanwan standing with Chai Yong-li, the little artist next to Lucy Yang scoffed. Birds of the same feather flock together? Huh. The Yi by today is only good enough to mingle with those outdated companies. Lucy Yang waved. That's just too bad for them. Without Worldwide backing him, there's no way Yi Bai could collaborate with a company like Beauty. I remember when we wanted to have a couple shot on the cover. Not only did Yi Bai disapprove of it, but he even warned that we would be responsible for the consequences. But right now? Are these the so-called consequences he was referring to? Ha, The few artists and fashion icons next to her said in a surprised tone, "That actually happened? I thought Yi Bai had quite good taste? I heard he's great at both PR and planning." The little artist said, "That's why he portrayed himself as such an amazing person, but in reality his fame was more than he deserves." Kai Yong-shing was displeased. "That guy thought he's so great just because he's a vice president. If it wasn't for my uncle trying to drive out Zhou Wenbin, would Yi Bai have gotten his status so easily? That guy was just a chess piece in my uncle's hands, yet he still didn't realize his own position and thought he really was an important figure." Liang Chong laughed. "Oh well, youngsters are like that. They have an exaggerated opinion of their own abilities." His eyes lit up as he spoke and he said with a faint smile, "I also heard Yi Bai turned around and went to work with Vivi?" Lu Siyang chuckled when she heard that. "Yeah, that's right. They also copied us. It was also a couple shot, but it was Gong Su and Luo Qin, two grown men, on the cover together. They've exhausted their limited abilities and abandoned themselves at the point of despair, huh?" Liang Chong shook his head and sighed. In the past, Vivi was also considered our senior and an old name in the fashion industry. I didn't expect they would degrade themselves and collaborate with just anybody," Kai Yong-shing hurriedly said. How could Chai Yong-li, that old thing, compare to Chief Editor Liang? Everyone calls you the leader in the fashion industry now." Kai Yong-li gave a thumbs up. Liang Chong was delighted with the bootlicking. He said, "Oh right, for our special publication this year, I've already chosen Lucy." Kai Yong-shing was surprised and immediately pulled Lucy Yang over to give a toast to Liang Chong. "Thank you so much. Lucy, give a toast to Chief Editor Liang." Very soon, the party came to an end. Yi Wanwan, Chai Yong-li and the others were at the entrance, about to leave, when someone called out to Chai Yong-li all of a sudden. All they saw was a lady in an expensive customized evening gown with a red fur waistcoat over it. She had a delicate face and her lofty gaze had a tinge of displeasure as she looked at Chai Yong-li. Chapter 846, Chief Editor Chai, please wait. The one who called out was the movie queen, Yu Si-fei. "Miss Yu, is there a problem?" Chai Yong-li stopped in his tracks. Yu Si-fei mumbled, "I heard Chief Editor Chai has been going around telling everyone that I flaked out on you and violated the contract?" Chai Yong-li frowned and didn't respond. He didn't want to fight with an artist in public over such matters. Xiao Yutong said coldly, "Although Miss Yu did, in fact, violate the contract, Vivi doesn't take pleasure in gossiping behind people's backs. How others think of you isn't something we can control." Yu Si-fei's manager sneered. "Xiao Yutong, everyone knows the state Vivi is in today. Our Si-fei was willing to be on the cover only because she values relationships and she did it for the sake of old friendships, but you guys actually dared to criticize the photos of our Si-fei." Xiao Yutong and Chai Yong-li's faces turned ugly. Yu Si-fei did agree to help them with the cover of this issue, but her attitude was as if she was giving money to beggars. They could tolerate all this, but they really couldn't tolerate her unprofessionalism. Not only was she late and made the crew wait, but she left after shooting for 5 minutes and in the end products weren't usable at all. They merely asked for a retake on another day, but Yu Si-fei directly ended the contract and refused to retake the photos. Yu Si-fei's manager continued, "Since you guys don't want the face we gave you, don't blame us for being insensitive. Chief Editor Chair, please get your crew members to stop being so shameless and harass me all the time, filling me with this garbage. Degrading our Si-fei." The woman spoke and threw a stack of documents at Chai Yong-li's face. The shooting plan Chai Yong-li prepared for months was scattered all over the floor. At this moment, there were many people walking in and out of the door, and artists had crowded around, watching the show. TSK, this Chai Yong-li really doesn't know how to conduct himself. He actually infuriated the movie queen. It was his fault to disregard the face that was given to him. It was truly lowering her standards for movie queen Yu to agree to be on their cover. He still thinks he's the godfather of the fashion industry? His taste is going from bad to worse, and do you know what kind of artist he looks for now? This time, he actually got 2 men together on the cover. What a joke. Xiao Yutong looked at the documents that were trampled upon by passers-by and her eyes reddened with fury. These SSH*less, Yi Wanwan bent over and picked up those pieces of paper that had footprints on them, one by one, and handed them over. Xiao Yutong said gratefully, "Thank you." Chai Yong Li's face turned ashen. "Yuang, forget it, they were right, maybe? I'm no longer suited for this industry, you should find another path soon. It's been hard on you for sticking with me." Throughout the years, almost all the former staff of Vivi had been poached over by Beauty. Xiao Yutong clenched her fists. "Chief editor, what nonsense are you spouting? I would never leave Vivi." From the start of the magazine's publication, she had worked alongside Chai Yong Li and she always respected his philosophy in fashion and work ethics. Xiao Yutong was disappointed and muttered in exhaustion, "Too bad the entertainment industry is no longer a place where you can prove yourself as long as you're capable." Yi Wanwan turned to Xiao Yutong and mumbled, "Not necessarily so. If the world is against you, you have to be so strong that nothing can stand in your way, not even the entire universe." Chapter 847. Newsflash, Gong Su and Luo Chen chased the goddess over 1,000 miles. Rivals met face to face at the fashion party. Who will bring the beauty home? Lucy Yang was breathtaking at the fashion party. Dazzling's director of talent recruitment, Kai Yong-sheng, talks about the current situation in the entertainment industry. He merely attended a function, yet the gossip was all over the place within one night. Kai Yong-sheng also promoted himself in the meantime, which was expected of him. During Dazzling Media's company party, the top management and artists gathered together. Come, everyone, let's give a toast to Director Kai. I believe Director Kai will lead Dazzling to glory. Cheers. After Director Kai joined us, we finally found out what a true professional manager is like. Who is Yi Bai anyway? He only groomed Luo Chen after so long, but Director Kai managed to get Goddess Lucy to shoot to fame within a few days. Exactly. Kai Yong-sheng's face was flushed from the alcohol. He smiled gleefully. Don't compare that gigolo with me. What does he have? Without worldwide backing him, we'll see how he's going to survive, the others chimed in. Director Kai is right, Gong Su and Luo Chen were too careless. They were really cheated terribly by Yi by this time. Lately, the projects they've been working on are all so messy, Being on the cover of a magazine that's close to collapsing and even reducing themselves to the point of accepting an endorsement for female products. Only time will tell. Someday, Gong Su and Luo Chen will realize which manager is truly capable, and by then, they'll definitely beg to return. While Dazzling was throwing a grand celebration party for Kai Yong-sheng and Beauty was announcing their record-breaking sales, Vivi Magazine's official Weibo silently posted the cover of the upcoming issue with the link for the pre-orders. #Luo Chen, Gong Su, Vivi's special article #Vivi's brand new mysterious cover strikes. Justice and evil, light and darkness. Taking you on a brand new journey. Vivi's flagship store pre-order link. At Luo Chen, at Gong Su, at Chai Yongli, at photographer Xiao Yutong, specially invited stylist at Felix, at Yi Bai, at Age Off the Mortals Media. Xiao Yutong sat in front of the computer. She took a deep breath and pressed the enter key before she said, "Chief editor, the blog post is up." Chai Yongli nodded. "Good." Xiao Yutong looked at the photograph on the cover that was even more stunning after going through processing. "I think everyone will like it." Although Chai Yongli thought so too, he failed too many times in the past and didn't dare to have high hopes for this. After a few minutes, there was silence under the blog post and there were only 2 likes. Late at night, Yi Wanwan and the others held a meeting about the script at the office when her phone had a notification. Vivi had made the announcement on their Weibo. "Gong Su, Luo Chen, go share it." Yi Wanwan said. "Oh, okay. Sure." The 2 of them shared the notice of the cover like usual, and Yi Wanwan and Yi Mu Fan did the same as well. Yi Mu Fan glanced at the cover. He had to admit that those 2 guys really looked quite handsome on the cover and they displayed a lot of emotion. Plus, with Gong Su and Luo Chen's fans, this upcoming issue would sell out for sure. However, they really didn't earn much from being on the cover of just one issue. The money wasn't enough to solve their crisis and they had to quickly think of a way to make more money. Otherwise, there was no way they could start production. Yi Wanwan glanced casually at the Weibo post and said, "Alright, it's late. Go back and rest." Chapter 848. The next day, the sun rose slowly. It was the start of a new day in Imperial City. In the tea room of a certain high-class office building, two girls had their heads buried. They huddled together mysteriously and were swiping their phones intensely. They even screamed with an indescribable thrill from time to time. "Ah, too handsome, too handsome. How could he be so handsome? I'm about to faint. Our hubbies are simply too compatible, right?" One of the two girls, who was screaming excitedly at the other, was Gong Su's diehard fan, while the other was Luo Chen's diehard fan. When Gong Su and Luo Chen's relationship was sour, the fans of these two artists were like fire and water as well. A few girls from the back entered. When they saw that these two girls were huddled together so closely, it was like they had seen a meteorite crashing to Earth. Judy, Alice, what's going on with the both of you?" That's right. Don't you guys hate each other to the core? What happened here?" After the two of them saw their colleagues, they revealed foxy looks and pulled the others in like bandits, then eagerly showed them the blog post from their phones. "Big sis, let me show you guys some good stuff." Yes, I guarantee it'll be good." "What are you girls looking at?" The few girls leaned over. When they saw the magazine cover on their phones and the collage of the other photos in the magazine, they went silent for a second before they screamed at the same time. Oh god, so handsome. How could they look so good? Is this a vampire and a hunter? It totally brings out that feeling. Gong Su looks so adorable in his velvet pajamas. It's simply too mo. Luo Chen looks too good with spectacles. TSK. No wonder the two of you are so crazy over these two. I want to be a fan too. What magazine is this? I'm going to buy it. Come. Welcome to the club. I've already pre-ordered my copy. Why didn't I ever realize that Gong Su and Luo Chen were actually so compatible? Especially from these homely photos, I'm basically being force-fed a mouthful of dog food. Haha, right? Before, we always thought Gong Su and Luo Chen weren't on good terms, but now, we realize these two just had a love-hate relationship. The girls were looking at the photos excitedly when there was a loud thud. The girl behind them fainted, holding her phone all of a sudden. Shit. Anne, are you okay? The girl hugged her phone and woke up in a daze. There were traces of tears on her face. I have no regrets now. Don't panic. And is a senior Fujoshi. She can't take this sort of stimulus. She's probably overstimulated. I can't blame and for not being able to handle this. I'm not even a Fujoshi and I'm already melting, alright. Companies, schools, production teams, crowded streets and small alleys. In the morning, similar scenarios kept happening. With the netizens sharing the good stuff all over, the upcoming issue of Vivi featuring Luo Chen and Gong Su on the cover had spread across all of Weibo and WeChat moments. Luo Chen and Gong Su kept appearing on the hot searches together, and #CP topic broke through 100 million reads. The pre-order sales of Vivi's upcoming issue was still crazily rising. Beauty sold 20,000 copies in a week, but Vivi's flagship store already received 50,000 orders in just one morning, and the numbers were still increasing. Chapter 849. The hot topics on Weibo these days had about tens of thousands of shares, while the cover reveal that Vivi posted was shared over 100,000 times with over 400,000 likes. There were endless comments under the post too. On Xiao Yutong's personal Weibo, the photos she previously posted had also been frantically shared around. Damn. What did I just see? This is insane. Gong Su and Luo Chen are actually in the same frame. This photo gallery is too lovely. I love seeing both of them squabbling. It's like a couple scene. Oh god. My Fujoshi heart is exploding. Please get married, I'm begging you guys. Chen Su CP for the win. Who said friendships had to be courteous and nice on the surface? Although Gong Su and Luo Chen have always been fighting, they went through tough times together, and this is the true meaning of brotherhood, alright. It's so much better than those plastic relationships in the entertainment industry. So it's Vivi, that old name. I used to buy every single issue of their magazine when I was in high school. In an office building, Gong Su had just woken up and was rubbing his eyes. He saw the scary amount of shares and comments and was completely shocked. What happened while I was asleep? You bought a water army for us? Luo Chen was puzzled as well. Yi Wanwan replied to the messages that were flooding her phone non-stop and chuckled. I don't have the money to buy paid followers. These are your natural source of water. Yi Mu Fan speedily browsed through all the related messages and exclaimed in surprise. How could they be paid netizens? The sales volume of the magazine can't be faked and the pre-orders have already exceeded 50,000 and it's still soaring. The few of them were talking when Gong Su jumped up like a frightened cat. Damn. Wise young master, the one who's bottom. All of you guys are bottom. Your whole family is bottom. The issues this guy focuses on are really always so strange. At this moment, everyone in Vivi's magazine building was very busy. Xiao Jiang, hurry, close the webpage for the pre-orders. We can't have any more orders. There isn't enough stock. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Qiao Qiao, go over to the printing factory and increase the number of copies. What? We can only increase it by 10,000? That's definitely not enough. Get a quote from other factories then. Find whatever you can. Mick, have you edited the third set of photos? And those group photos of the 4 people? Hurry up. Xiao Yutong was so busy that she didn't even have time to swallow her saliva. Her phone kept ringing nonstop and was about to explode. There were also a couple people from the entertainment industry calling to congratulate her even though they hadn't been in contact with her for a long time. Chai Yongli looked at the staff who were so busy at the office and felt like it was a lifetime ago. He never expected that this issue would actually bring about such a drastic change for Vivi by just using the shots of 2 substitutes on the cover, allowing Vivi to return to its peak. Compared to the rejoicing Vivi, the current situation at Beauty Magazine was as expected. Bang! Liang Chong slammed the table, his face filled with disbelief. This is impossible. This is fake. These numbers are fake. The assistant trembled and stuttered. But I just heard that Vivi contacted many printing factories, so this shouldn't be fake. And the trending topics flooding the internet can't be fake either. Damn it. Liang Chong muttered a curse, then he immediately gave Kai Yongsheng a call, but he couldn't get through. Kai Yongsheng would probably be the one having the greatest headache today. He just woke up from Lucy Yang's bed and his phone was already exploding. Chapter 850 Dazzling Media. Kai Yongsheng stomped across the staff seating area and headed straight to the office. The staff behind him buried their heads. They didn't even dare to breathe. It was only when Kai Yongsheng walked into the office that they started to gossip. Gong Su and Luo Chen exploded in fame overnight, and as industry insiders, they received the news earlier, so it was impossible that they didn't know about it. Damn, I really have to give it to Yi Bai. Great move. Exactly. He didn't have money, networks, or resources, yet he managed to get Gong Su and Luo Chen to counterattack in one night with just a magazine cover. Our Vice President Yi has always been capable, but he was forcefully squeezed out by Kai Yongsheng. What a pity. Kai Yongsheng is really unlucky this time. Did you guys know? Lucy Yang got scolded terribly. At the office, Kai Yongsheng was throwing a huge tantrum. What did you say? This is impossible. How could such a ridiculous cover be a hit? And Vivi is just a has-been magazine that was about to close down. However, no matter how unbelievable this incident was, the truth was right there. The assistant's head was aching. He said, Director Kai, the worst thing is what's going on with Lucy. Right now, everyone is attacking her online and even the company was implicated. What? Kai Yongsheng hurriedly turned on his computer and skimmed through the entertainment news. Gong Su and Luo Chen, who had been suppressed by him and laid low for a long time, exploded in fame over the internet overnight. What was worse was that the wind direction had suddenly changed online and Lucy Yang's Weibo was filled with hateful messages. Shit. What Lu Su CP, Luo Lu scandal. It should have been Luo Chen and Gong Su all along. Haha, Auntie Lu freeloaded here and there. I'm afraid it was just wishful thinking on her part, huh? The two of them left the company together and didn't even give a damn about her. At first, the netizens online were just commenting in a joking manner, but afterward, quite a number of them started to realize that something wasn't right. The voices that were buried by Kai Yong-sheng's water army started appearing on the water's surface. Didn't you guys notice that from the beginning till now, Gong Su and Luo Chen's scandals with Lucy Yang were all groundless? There wasn't anything concrete there at all. You guys just noticed that? This was Lucy Yang's tactic. She freeloaded on their fame and created the scandals that the boys were in love with her, establishing herself as an attractive goddess. This woman is simply too shameless. She kept freeloading on Gong Su and Luo Chen's fame and didn't even let them off after they left the company. I was an employee at Dazzling, but I already resigned because the director of talent recruitment, Kai Yong-sheng, has always wanted to take out Director Yi. I'm clear on the truth. In order to increase the popularity of the artist under him, Kai Yong-sheng kept using Gong Su and Luo Chen to promote Lucy Yang. In the end, Gong Su and Luo Chen couldn't take it anymore, so they left with Yi Bai. They didn't betray the company together or anything like that, and they also weren't poached by other companies either. Droplets of sweat covered Kai Yong-sheng's forehead. What are you waiting for? Get someone to delete all this rubbish. The assistant was helpless. We already deleted some, but it's impossible to delete everything. How's it possible to contain anything on the internet? Anyway, the other party's fame is so terrifying right now. Lucy Yang's dirty deeds were constantly brought to light, and there were scoldings all over her Weibo, and she was completely criticized by Gong Su and Luo Chen's fans. Meanwhile, with an overwhelming request for more, Vivi magazine released the photos from the third theme and announced a special interview with Age of the Immortals Media. Chapter 851. The photos from the third theme were taken at a scenic spot in City S. The two of them wore the same outfit from a certain well-known local brand, and the photos were shot in a beautiful and secluded bamboo forest that had an ancient feeling to it. What are Luo Chen and Gong Su wearing? They look too good. It's a brand from our very own country. They have ladies wear as well. The prices aren't too steep and the clothes look good, much better than those international big brand names. The location of the shoot looks really good too. The background is too pretty. I feel like going on a vacation now. Let's form a group and go together. After this group of images was freshly released, aside from the netizens commenting like crazy, the clothing brand that Gong Su and Luo Chen wore and their shooting location also became popular. However, nobody expected that the most explosive image wasn't the one on the cover nor the photos from the third theme, but it was the company photo that Xiao Yutong suggested they take. Vivi Magazine Official Weibo. An exclusive interview fresh out of the oven with a company photo. More exciting content in this upcoming issue of Vivi is waiting for you. At Age of the Immortals Media, this Weibo post was very simple. It only had a short paragraph of words and a photo. In the photo, Yi Wanwan was sitting on the sofa with one hand languidly supporting her head. Her lazy and careless eyes glanced casually at the camera and were as dazzling as the stars in the galaxy. Luo Chen was standing tall and straight, and he stood next to her with a solemn expression. Meanwhile, Gong Su didn't have a necktie on his suit. The first two buttons on his suit were unfastened, and he looked at the camera, glowing with vigor. Felix held a rose in his hand by the side and looked extremely elegant. Initially, everyone was talking about how beautiful the bamboo forest was, but after seeing this photo, they were all dumbfounded. In a certain office in Imperial City, one of the female staff, who was slacking away, got so excited that she knocked over the cup on her desk. She didn't even care and hurriedly sent this photo to the group chat with her colleagues. Hurry, go over to Vivi's official Weibo. The little editor has made another big move. At the same time, the number of comments under the post was continually increasing. Damn. What did I just see? Why is my phone so dirty? Vivi simply knows my old Fujoshi heart too well. You told me this is a company photo? This is simply a feast for the eyes. I'm dying to know what company this is. I want to work there. I want to work there. I don't even mind sweeping the floor. I'll go clean the toilets. Don't fight with me for the toilets. Shit, the above commenter is too shameless, eh? Little editor, please post more photos. Hand over the photos and we'll spare your life. The number of shares, comments, and likes were increasing exponentially. Numerous sightseeing, 2, groups of screen lickers, 1, started looking for related information about this company. The number of fans on Yi Wanwan and Yi Mu fans' Weibo accounts started to soar as well. The current situation for all 4 of their Weibo accounts right now was Gong Su was a blabbermouth, posting all sorts of nonsense every day. Luo Chen was a workaholic. Almost every post was work-related, usually posting advertisements with brands he was working with, and Yi Mu fans' Weibo was filled with practical information and posts about styling. All 3 of their Weibos had numerous personal photos and almost every photo was shared by this sightseeing group. As for Yi Wanwan, she used Dazzling Media's Weibo to make posts from when she started working there and hadn't created an account for herself until recently. She only created this Weibo after registering her own company. There weren't any photos, not to mention a post, only an announcement about the establishment of Age of the Immortals Media. Chapter 852. The fans were so excited that they were screaming and begging for more photos, begging to reveal their faces and even begging to debut. Damn. This guy is actually the boss of the company and not an artist? What's up with their boss looking so good, huh? Little bro, please debut. I have to be your VIP even if I have to go there to pick up garbage. In the office, Yi Wanwan browsed through the comments on the post and was somewhat speechless. Not only Xiao Yutong and Chai Yong Li, but even Yi Wanwan herself didn't expect that this photo would cause such a huge reaction. Gong Su was laughing heartily by the side. Haha, Yi, I think they make a lot of sense. Why don't you just debut? Yi Wanwan gave him side-eye. Just looking after you is enough to keep me busy. Debut? I don't want to be drowned in a certain someone's sea of jealousy. Meanwhile, at the entrance of worldwide media, piercing screams from fans could be heard and countless crazy fans of Han Xianyu were holding banners as the security guards blocked 2 sides to make way for Han Xianyu. That's Han Xianyu, I love you. Hubby, I miss you to death. Recently, Han Xianyu was overseas for a confined filming and had just returned to the country today. The second the car door opened, Han Xianyu got off slowly in his shades and mask. When he saw the fans at the entrance, he took off his mask and smiled warmly at everyone, waving at them. The fans immediately screamed excitedly like they were about to faint. After he greeted his fans, Han Xianyu strode towards the company building and the smile on his face gradually disappeared. There was an icy cold and angry aura around him. His manager, Fei Yang, wiped his sweat. He carefully followed behind him and tried to explain, Xianyu, sorry about it. I really didn't mean to hide the Yi Bai thing from you, but you were filming a crucial shot and I didn't want you to be distracted. Han Xianyu pulled out his phone and glanced disapprovingly at Fei Yang. Fei Yang felt guilty and coughed lightly. All right, I know you and Yi Bai are really close and was afraid you'd do something rash. Yi Bai fought with the company so badly and even took Gong Su, Luo Chen and Felix away at the same time. Worldwide HQ also ordered that no artists from Worldwide should have any connections with Yi Bai. Fei Yang was anxiously trying to explain when he saw Han Xianyu's fingers tapping on Yi Bai's personal Weibo. Fei Yang was aghast. Xianyu, what are you doing? Don't. He hadn't completed his sentence when Han Xianyu shared Yi Bai's Weibo post announcing the establishment of his company using his own account. He also swiftly typed a paragraph of words. Congratulations on the birth of Age of the Immortals Media. Tigers live in the woods and dragons belong to the vast sea, but you belong to a bigger world. As long as you need me, I'll be by your side forever. When Fei Yang saw the 4 words, your post was successful, Fei Yang immediately fell into despair and held his head. He knew this would happen. Xianyu is just too loyal, but I can't blame him for it. After all, when he was at his lowest, when the company, his fans, and the whole world disregarded him, it was Yi Bai who saved him. If it wasn't for Yi Bai, who made vigorous efforts to turn the tide, maybe Han Xianyu would now. He couldn't even dare to think what would have happened to Xianyu if Yi Bai wasn't there to handle the crisis that time. Chapter 853, Worldwide Conference Room. Chu Hongguang, Kai Yongsheng, the top management and shareholders were all present. The looks on their faces were different and their eyes seemed to fall on Chu Hongguang. Chairman Chu wanted to give some authority and a lucrative job to his own family member. That was understandable, but it wasn't altogether inexcusable either. But who could have expected that this Kai Yongxing would be so stupid to chase Yi Bai away? Outsiders had no idea how Yi Bai was recruited by Worldwide at such a young age without any power or backing, but the people present at HQ now knew the reason very clearly in their hearts. The incident involving Han Xianyu molesting a child had a very negative impact. Even the company was dragged into it and Worldwide was helpless. It was Yi Bai who offered his services and executed a perfect plan to solve the crisis, which gave him the chance to enter Worldwide. This Kai Yongxing, an idiot who relied on his relations with Chu Hongguang, actually wanted to compete with him? If he was respectful, it would have been fine to recruit a capable general. But the annoying part was that Kai Yongxing was dumb and made everything such a terrible mess. Right now, not only was Yi Bai gone, but he even took 2 hottest artists and a stylist from Dazzling. Even when Worldwide shut him out, Yi Bai still made a breakthrough just by relying on a magazine cover. Any industry insiders who were slightly more knowledgeable would know that although it seemed like a simple cover shoot, it marketed the fashion industry, entertainment industry, and tourism industry, crossing multiple boundaries at once. It could even be considered a classic example of a counterattack to traditional media. According to the latest news, the country's famous tourism sector already reached an agreement to collaborate and signed a contract with Luo Chen and Gong Su to be their tourism ambassadors. Also, the well-known clothing brand in China also invited them to be their spokespeople. These were top-level positions that would be difficult for a big company like Worldwide to obtain. Even though everyone knew where the problem lay, everybody still gave Chu Hongguang some face and nobody pointed it out bluntly. Kai Yongxing, who was hard-pressed on every side, gritted his teeth and said, "This Yi Bai, not only did he take the company's artists away, but he even blackened the reputation of the artists under me by using all sorts of underhand methods. He should be punished harshly." Chairman Chu, shut up. Chu Hongguang was suppressing a bellyful of anger, but when he heard his nephew speaking this way and not learning from his mistakes, he became even more agitated. Kai Yongxing didn't have any choice but to suppress his anger himself. Chu Hongguang scanned the people in the conference room and said in a low voice, "What suggestions do you guys have?" Everyone looked at one another. One of the middle-aged shareholders wearing a blue-gray suit spoke up, Chairman Chu, as the shareholders, we obviously want to work in a way where we can earn the most profits. Since Yi Bai is capable, why don't we just hire him back again?" Kai Yongxing's face froze. "No way. Where am I going to put my face if I hire Yi Bai back right now? Would I still have a place at Dazzling?" At this moment, a certain higher-up said, "I'm afraid this isn't appropriate. After all, we have to take into account the image of our company. No matter what, Yi Bai took 2 artists and left the company. If we hired him back after what happened, wouldn't we be encouraging that sort of behavior?" Kai Yongxing chimed in immediately, Exactly. That's right. Not only should we not hire him back, but we need to teach him a lesson. We have to kill the chicken to warn the monkey." 1. The moment Kai Yongxing said that, Han Xianyu and Fei Yang walked into the conference room. Han Xianyu's public reputation was second to none in the industry. Ever since that incident, he was the walking signboard of Worldwide and was also one of the shareholders at Worldwide, so he was entitled to join the conference. Chapter 854. A few minutes ago, Han Xianyu shared Yi Bai's Weibo post and it caused quite a stir. Ow. Little Angel Xianyu is finally posting on his Weibo after disappearing for so long. Wait, what did I just see? Did Little Angel just share the post by the boss of Age of the Immortals, Yi Bai? Tigers live in the woods and dragons belong to the vast sea. This sounds so domineering. If even Xianyu said this hottie must really be quite amazing. I'll support whoever Little Angel Xianyu supports. I'll cheer Yi Bai on. As long as you need me, I'll be by your side forever. This sounds too provocative. It's like watching the birth of a new CP. Iota. Wait a minute, that rumored gay partner of little angel Xianyu, who he's very close to, can't be Yi Bai Ji, can it? If that's the case, this is true love. Ever since the child molestation case ended, Han Xianyu focused on acting and rarely appeared in public and the media. He didn't even post on his Weibo very often, and some fans realized that the occasional posts he made always mentioned one person. For example, somebody said that my left profile looks better. I let someone read my fortune today. In the end, he could only read someone else's but not mine. Cough when a certain someone is drunk, it's really indescribable. Han Xianyu's fans were already speculating about this someone he kept referring to, and now they connected it to Yi Bai. After all, ever since that incident, Han Xianyu rarely talked about his own friends aside from that one. In the conference room, upon seeing Han Xianyu appear, Kai Yongsheng's face turned extremely ugly. He just saw the post Han Xianyu shared. Kai Yongsheng scoffed and looked at Han Xianyu. He said gloomily, "Oh, I was wondering who it was. So it's our superstar Han." Indeed, when one gains fame, his wings harden. He actually openly violated the company's orders and shared that Weibo post, publicly indicating his support for Yi Bai. I'd like to know just what you were thinking, eh? Han Xianyu glanced at Kai Yongsheng coldly. The way I work is none of your business. You, Kai Yongsheng was embarrassed and his face turned red. He immediately pointed at Han Xianyu's nose and started yelling, Han Xianyu, are you trying to rebel like Yi Bai, hh? Since you support him so much, why didn't you leave the company with him? When Han Xianyu heard that, he replied indifferently, sure. The moment Han Xianyu said that, Kai Yongsheng went silent all of a sudden and the look of ridicule on his face froze. The entire conference room was in complete silence as well. Nobody expected this would happen. Kai Yongsheng was dumbstruck. His face was the color of pig's liver at this point. Han Xianyu, you? What do you mean? Han Xianyu replied expressionlessly, the literal meaning, didn't Director Kai ask me to leave the company? Cold sweat started dripping. Kai Yongsheng had suppressed too much anger inside and didn't dare vent at the top management and shareholders, so he chose a pushover and vented his anger at Han Xianyu instead. Who knew that Han Xianyu, who had always been gentle and easygoing, would have such a harsh attitude now? Although Luo Chen and Gong Su were very popular at the moment, they could be easily replaced by newbies. Meanwhile, Han Xianyu was like Worldwide Entertainment's ambassador. After he was acquitted of that molestation case, it caused a huge effect on society because he had always been charitable but was framed and slandered by others. Today, his popularity and favor with the public were unparalleled in the entire entertainment industry. The few individuals who left with Yi Bai already left Kai Yongsheng beaten black and blue. If Han Xianyu was also chased out by him, he would be finished. Chapter 855. Chu Hongguang turned to Kai Yongsheng with a darkened expression. Yongsheng, apologize to Xianyu. Kai Yongsheng immediately blew up. Why should I apologize to him? He's just a lowly actor. Who is he that I have to apologize to him? He should be the one apologizing to me. He already lost enough face the past few days. It was absolutely impossible for him to apologize to an entertainer in public. Han Xianyu wasn't like Yi Bai and the others. As the pillar of Worldwide, how he was treated was very different. All the resources in Worldwide were given to him, so how could he simply leave for someone like Yi Bai? In reality, Kai Yongsheng truly thought too lowly of Han Xianyu. With his talents, he didn't have to rely on the company anymore, and it was the company that relied on him instead. Chu Hongguang obviously knew this fact and he slammed the table. Kai Yongsheng, shut the hell up. I want you to apologize. Do you hear me? Han Xianyu didn't even bother looking at Kai Yongsheng. He turned towards Chu Hongguang, who was sitting on the main seat, and said indifferently, Chairman Chu, no need for that. If there's nothing else, please arrange for the lawyer to handle the contract terminations for me and Yang Ji. After Han Xianyu finished speaking, he bowed towards Chu Hongguang and considered this his final farewell to the first company he worked at. Then he left immediately without saying a word. Behind him, Fei Yang looked at Han Xianyu's departing figure and wanted to say something, but in the end he didn't. Han Xianyu, you... Before Kai Yongxing could complete his sentence, Fei Yang already interrupted him. Director Kai, I advise you to stop using the same trick you used on Yi Bai. Yi Bai was an upright guy, so he didn't take revenge or make your scandals public. I'm not the same though. Fei Yang paused and waved his phone before he continued. Oh, right, I recorded everything you said just now. If Kai Yongxing wanted to write an article about Han Xianyu leaving, that would be too naive. Since he wanted to leave, he naturally had to make sure he could walk out cleanly. He didn't want to give Kai Yongxing anything he could use against him. Therefore, when he noticed that things weren't going well, he already turned on the recorder with a subtle reminder from Han Xianyu in order to avoid getting counterattacked. After all, this was the trick Kai Yongxing usually used. In fact, with Han Xianyu's current status, he could have already left on his own long ago. Many artists like him already left their companies and started their own studios. Fei Yang was already in the middle of helping Han Xianyu plan and prepare, and they also talked about it many times before, but Han Xianyu hadn't made a firm decision and Fei Yang wasn't sure what he was waiting for either. This chapter is scrapped from Riyadh Light Novel. He didn't expect that in the end, Han Xianyu would leave the company like that. Sudden thought came to Fei Yang. He couldn't have been waiting for this day all along, right? Upon seeing Han Xianyu and Fei Yang actually leaving like that, Kai Yongxing was stunned. Beads of cold sweat formed on his forehead and he was in disbelief. Seeing how things were developing, the top management and shareholders were looking at Kai Yongxing like he was a fool. This Kai Yongxing really thinks that as the nephew of Chairman Chu, he can rule worldwide? Never mind that he strutted around and flaunted his power in a small subsidiary company like Dazzling, but he didn't know how to exercise restraint even at Worldwide HQ. Many of the top management disliked this dumb Kai Yongxing and at this moment, they were all anticipating a good show. After causing such a huge mess, even Chu Hongguang could no longer protect him. With Chu Hongguang's patience towards Kai Yongxing reaching its limit, he said, "You, go to the finance department to get your pay and go the hell back to your mother." Kai Yongxing finally panicked. Uncle, how could you do this to me? Chapter 856 In Chu Hongguang's office. His assistant tried to advise him cautiously, "Chairman Chu, calm down, don't be so mad. Actually, you should know that sooner or later, we wouldn't have been able to keep Han Xianyu anyway." Still enraged, Chu Hongguang replied, "Of course I knew he'd leave sooner or later, but it could have been more peaceful. How would it have compared to this situation right now? In the future, even if Han Xianyu left, it would ideally be under better conditions. He was still groomed by their company and if he did well on his own, glory would still go to their company. Moreover, if he wanted to leave the company of his own volition, he'd be in the wrong. They would still have control and speaking power, so public opinion would certainly be on their side. In the future, if they wanted to collaborate with him, they would definitely get priority. But right now, with the advantage falling into the hands of others, everything was screwed up by that idiot who couldn't achieve anything and only knew how to ruin things. The little secretary then knocked on the door and came in. "Chairman Chu, Director Kai is outside. He's making a scene and wants to see you. Ask him to get lost." "Yes." The little secretary scurried away. Chu Hongguang raged in fury but calmed down very shortly afterward. He had numerous companies and subsidiaries under Worldwide, and he had countless influential people and A-listers around him, so losing just a couple of staff members from Dazzling would only mean slightly lesser profits. It was no big deal. As for Han Xianyu, Chu Hongguang could only send people to meditate the situation quickly. Now, the most urgent matter wasn't these trivial things, but his sworn enemy, Emperor Sky Entertainment. He heard that the Yi family's eldest daughter, Yi, would soon be engaged to the Gu family's successor, Gu Yuzhe. When that time came, with such a powerful union, the impact on Worldwide would be even greater. "Wow. Yiji, come and look at this. Xianyu is too manly." Yi Wanwan was busy doing her work when Gong Su suddenly howled and ran over to her with his phone. Then she saw that Han Xianyu actually shared her Weibo post. Yi Wanwan, Xianyu is back. She knew Han Xianyu had been overseas filming, and if she didn't remember wrong, today was the day he returned home. So, he must have shared her Weibo post as soon as he resumed contact with the outside world. And he did it even when Worldwide ordered all the artists internally that they weren't to have any connections with her. Yi Wanwan looked at those phrases, "You belong to a bigger world, and as long as you need me, I'll be by your side forever," and felt a warmth in her heart. In her previous life, she found herself utterly isolated and died a lonely death, but right now, she had so many true friends around her. Yimu Fan nodded and spoke in a brother-in-law manner. "This artist, Han Xianyu, isn't bad. Our mom? My mom is a fan of his. She watches his drama every single day and watches his advertisements on repeat." Luo Chen looked worried. Since Senior Xianyu shared a Weibo post like this, would Worldwide make things hard for him? They were chatting away when they suddenly heard Xiao Qing's screams from the front desk outside. Xianyu. Xiao Qing and Dong Zai were artists' assistants and were paid by the artists. They weren't affiliated with the company, so after they left Dazzling to work with Yi Bai, Xiao Qing had to work at the front desk temporarily as they hadn't had time to recruit proper staff members. Yi Wanwan heard the commotion outside and instinctively turned to look at the entrance. In the next second, she saw a handsome young man wearing a windbreaker appearing at her office door, dusty and travel-worn. Chapter 857. Han Xianyu looked at her. There was warmth all over his dusty face as he said, "Yi Bai, it's been long." Yi Wanwan hadn't expected that Han Xianyu would appear before her in person right after she saw his Weibo post, so she was still quite shocked. Xianyu, why are you here?" Han Xianyu raised his brows subtly then said, "Congratulations on your new company. I'm here to present you with a gift." Yi Wanwan hadn't snapped back to her senses yet. "Gift? What gift?" Han Xianyu nodded. "And myself." Yi Wanwan, Gong Su. Seeing the normally swift and decisive Yi Wanwan actually in a daze, Han Xianyu's eyes revealed a tinge of laughter. "Will you accept me?" Yi Wanwan was dazzled by the young man's charming smile, and she took half a day to return to her senses. Behind Han Xianyu, Fei Yang looked at his artist and choked slightly. The corners of his lips twitched and he was speechless. He was cursing in his heart. "We're just here to discuss collaboration. Why must you sound so provocative? Anyway, the other party is a man, alright? He's never been so flirty even with a girl before. It's like this, Director Wrong, I should call you Chairman Yi now. We're here to join your company." Fei Yang explained. However, Yi Wanwan became even more shocked after Fei Yang's explanation. "What? Join my company? Han Xianyu, why? We're not welcome here?" Yi Wanwan's mind was a mess and she held her forehead. Wait, let me digest this a little. "You belong to Worldwide, how could you?" Han Xianyu replied. "I terminated my contract with Worldwide an hour ago." Yi Wanwan. This news is simply too sudden. Han Xianyu actually terminated his contract with Worldwide and wants to join my company? She knew Han Xianyu always valued friendships, and because she helped him before, he always looked out for her. She was very touched that he supported her openly, but Yi Wanwan never expected that he would actually do this. Gong Su widened his eyes while Luo Chen and Yi Mu Fan looked at each other. They were all stunned. Han Xianyu wants to join our company? From an established and big company like Worldwide to a small startup like us? Yi Wanwan's expression gradually turned stern and she warned, "Xianyu, this isn't a small matter. Don't be impulsive and let your emotions affect your decisions. I just started this company not long ago and it's still very new. Not everything is on track yet, and with Gong Su and Luo Chen under me, I'll be very busy for sure. With your talent and abilities, there's no need for you to come over to our side. Even if you didn't mind, with our company's abilities, we won't be able to." Before Yi Wanwan could finish, Han Xianyu interrupted her and looked at her firmly. "Yi Bai, I know this, and that's why my manager is still young. He'll be in charge of my assignments." I'll get my own assistant and you don't have to worry about my acting so you can busy yourself with your own matters. You don't have to worry about me at all. Yiwon. Oh please. That's not the main point, hello? Also, since you don't need me, why do you want to come over to my side? Yiwon was between laughter and tears as she looked at Han Xianyu. When you put it this way, it really sounds like I'd be taking advantage of you. I won't allow this for sure, Han Xianyu laughed. Boss Yi, I don't even mind being taken advantage of, so why should you? Chapter 858. Yiwon was speechless. She finally spoke up after a long time. Xianyu, I view you as a friend, so I can't take advantage of you like that. Han Xianyu looked at her. You understand we're friends too, huh? Then why didn't you even call me when you were going through a difficult time? Did you know how I felt after I heard what happened? You made me feel as though you didn't really treat me as a friend after we've known each other for so long. Han Xianyu looked hurt as he spoke. Seeing that Han Xianyu misunderstood, Yiwon hurriedly explained, How could that be? I expected this to happen. I could resolve things myself. Anyway, I knew you were filming a movie overseas, so I didn't want to bother you. Knowing that Han Xianyu was an artist from Worldwide and was technically in the middle of the conflict, how could she have sought him out to ask him for help? But Yiwon still felt somewhat guilty, probably because she lived 2 lives and had gone through quite a bit, so she wasn't willing to really lay her heart bare to other people and would never rely on others for matters that she could handle herself. Seeing how anxious Yiwon was, Han Xianyu's expression turned gentler and he spoke in a serious manner. Yi Bai, I told you before that I was actually planning to leave Worldwide already, but I was too lazy to start my own studio. I'm great at acting, but as for operating a business, I know nothing about it and I hate wasting my energy on these things. However, you're smart and capable, all we're missing is some networks and opportunities. If we work together, we're merely taking what we need and nobody is taking advantage of anyone. Is it more okay if I put it that way? Seems like Han Xianyu is serious this time and he's already made a decision. Yiwon was in a pickle. So, she turned to the other 3 people in the room. What do you guys think? After all, they were also the shareholders of the company. Yi Mu fan-sized Han Xianyu up with glistening eyes. The more he looked, the more satisfied he was. Although he didn't want his younger sister to be seduced by some other guy, he knew she would have to get married someday, and if he had to choose, Han Xianyu was the one he found most pleasing to the eyes at the moment. After all, decorating something that was already perfect was easy, but delivering coal in the snow was tough. There was definitely no issue with this guy's character. Furthermore, the Empress Dowager at home liked him too. Maybe he would be able to kick away that wild man who used his looks to trick others. Hence, Yi Mu Fan answered immediately, I think Xianyu's right and what he said makes sense. I'm okay to having Xianyu join us. Boss, what are you worried about, huh? Where did your domineering spirit go? At a shitty place like Worldwide, Xianyu already reached his peak and he wouldn't benefit if he stayed on. If you're worried that he's going to suffer by joining us, you should personally push him to strive for more. What Yi Mu Fan said really enticed Yiwon. He seemed to understand his younger sister very well. Indeed, the moment he said that, Yiwon's expression relaxed. After that, Luo Chen spoke up as well. I agree to having Senior Xianyu join us too. Yi Mu Fan spoke eagerly. Since everyone's in agreement, it's confirmed. Xianyu, welcome to the team. Yi Mu Fan was about to shake hands with Han Xianyu when Gong Su pounced over. Damn, is young master invisible? I didn't get a chance to speak. Object. Damn it. Alert, alert. Red alert. Another one coming to snatch Yi Ji away from me, and he's such a formidable rival. Han Xianyu was well-rounded, he was great at acting and had a fantastic public reputation. His talents were all squeezed out so there wasn't a single drop left. If Han Xianyu joined them, would there still be any place for Gong Su in this house? Your IQ is too low, so stop talking. Yi Mu Fan immediately brushed Gong Su away, then continued to shake Han Xianyu's hand and sealed the deal. Chapter 859, Yi Mu Fan. Xianyu, welcome to the team. Let me know if you need anything. I'll take care of anything for you. Han Xianyu, thank you. Gong Su was stomping his feet by the side. Hey, Han Xianyu walked over to Yi Wanwan's side. If you're worried about things on Kai Yongsheng's side, Yang Ji has a handle on him. He wouldn't dare to breathe a word to the outside. Furthermore, all of your departures from Worldwide already impacted their reputation quite a bit, and with Chu Hongguang's character, he wouldn't let Kai Yongsheng continue to blow things up. Yi Bai, trust me, alright? I thought about it very carefully before coming to a decision. Yi Wanwan, obviously I believe you. Previously, she was worried about Han Xianyu being impulsive, but he had always been dependable and would never do anything he wasn't prepared for. When he made this decision, he solved all of her worries. She had to say that this kind of artist, whom she didn't have to worry about, was truly a manager's dream come true. Gong Su. Hey? Gong Su, who was jumping on the side, was unfortunately unable to get his words out, so he dragged Luo Qin to the corner. What are you doing? Luo Qin furrowed his brows and straightened his shirt. Gong Su put his hands on his hips and asked, Luo Qin, are you dumb? How could you agree to that? Luo Qin glanced at him. Why not? With endless enthusiasm, Gong Su immediately exclaimed, Have you forgotten what you said before? Yiju loved saying that if I could be 1% as worry-free as Han Xianyu, he'd be able to smile while dwelling in the land of the dead. What does this tell us? This shows he already wanted to recruit Han Xianyu long ago. Now Han Xianyu's really joining us, and he can act, sing, dance, play the piano, has a multitude of talents, is extremely popular in the country, and has a perfect reputation. With him here, would there still be a place for the two of us, huh? Gong Su deliberately placed more emphasis on these three words, two of us, to pull Luo Qin to his side. Luo Qin, Gong Su sighed. Look at you, you're always so dim-witted. You wouldn't even know if someone betrayed you. You have to be more careful. Let me tell you. It hurts, it hurts. Yi Wanwan could no longer tolerate this. She grabbed Gong Su's collar and dragged him over. What nonsense are you spouting? Gong Su put on an aggrieved look and he rebutted unhappily, I was speaking the truth. Since when have I spouted nonsense? Yi Wanwan, since when did you ever have a place? Gong Su went blank at first before he howled and rolled to the side of the sofa. Cries, I don't want to live anymore. With the corners of her mouth twitching, Yi Wanwan said, You had so much time to think about this nonsense. Why can't you just think about how you can be 1% of Han Xianyu so I don't have to worry about you at all? Gong Su, your concubine, I can't do it. Yi Wanwan, Han Xianyu chuckled. Actually, it's great that Gong Su is like this. I've always been very envious of him. In this industry, everything an artist does is infinitely magnified under the spotlight and very few people can live without restraint like him. Yi Wanwan, yes. Especially after an artist reaches a certain level, there's nothing much a manager can do and most of their time is spent helping him gain a bit of freedom. That was why although she scolded Gong Su quite frequently, she didn't force him to do anything as long as it wasn't a matter of principle. Upon hearing what Yi Wanwan said, Han Xianyu smiled at her with an undetectable trace of gloominess. With a voice that only he could hear, he murmured, Too bad there are some freedoms that are unachievable in this lifetime. Chapter 860 Gong Su peeped at Han Xianyu through the gaps of his fingers and mumbled, Don't think that by saying that, I'll agree to let you join us. Luo Qin worked with Yiju first, so never mind that he was more favored, but why should this guy who joined later get special treatment as well? The veins on Yi Wanwan's forehead popped out. This bastard needs a beating before he'll behave. Yi Wanwan rolled her sleeves up and was about to beat him when Han Xianyu stopped her. He then turned to Gong Su casually, Gong Su, you don't have to worry about a thing, actually. Among all of us, your personality is the most prominent and nobody can ignore your presence at any point in time. Also, if we're talking about appearance, yours is the most secure in the group. No one can replace you. BBB best looking person on the team. Gong Su sat up and grabbed Han Xianyu's hand. Xianyuji, welcome to the team. It's an honor to work with someone with such great taste and foresight. Han Xianyu, cough cough, Yi Wanwan, Luo Qin, Yimu Fan, this brat? Since all four people had no objections, Han Xianyu and Fei Yang were finally a part of the team. Han Xianyu decided to invest by becoming a partner as well. That evening, Yi Wanwan booked a private dining room at a hotel to welcome Han Xianyu and Fei Yang. Yi Wanwan stood up and raised her glass. "Let's welcome the two of you to the team. Let me give you guys a toast." When Han Xianyu saw this, he hastily tried to stop her and asked, "Aren't you not allowed to drink?" Yi Wanwan, "A little is fine." Han Xianyu knew she valued him and seemed to recall something when he chuckled. "Forget it, you should just stick to juice." "We don't have to do this." Han Xianyu sounded more frightened than thoughtful. Yi Wanwan muttered, "Am I really so terrible when I'm drunk?" Han Xianyu rubbed his nose. "Not too bad." As he said this, his mind suddenly played back the scene at that time. He was sitting in the passenger seat. His bright and watery eyes stared at Han Xianyu as he broke into a smile. The light from his eyes dispersed, and it was as if there were hundreds and thousands of white flowers blooming. How could I throw up when I'm looking at such a beautiful face?" Yi Mu Fan obviously didn't want his own younger sister to drink, so he hastily said, "What drinks?" "Just drink the fruit juice." Han Xianyu returned to his senses immediately and changed Yi Wanwan's glass to juice, then made a toast. "Cheers." "Cheers. Let's welcome Senior Xianyu to the team." "Xianyu, welcome to the team." Han Xianyu had a very high EQ. He cared for everyone's feelings, so it didn't take long for Gong Su and Luo Qin to click very well with him. After the gathering ended, they went their own ways while Yi Wanwan and Yi Mu Fan headed in the same direction. In the car, Yi Wanwan said, "With the injection of funds by Xianyu and the endorsements we accepted lately, we should more or less have enough to film the movie." Yi Mu Fan nodded. "I hope everything goes smoothly." He then looked at Yi Wanwan and said with a worried expression, "Have you heard about what happened at the Yi family?" Yi Wanwan, "What?" Lately, she had been occupied with work and hadn't paid much attention to what was going on over there. Yi Mu Fan hesitated for a long time before he finally said, "Yi and Gu Yuzhe are getting engaged. Grandma called and told me just a few days ago." Yi Mu Fan observed Yi Wanwan's reaction, afraid she would be affected by the news. Yi Wanwan looked indifferent and didn't seem to have a change in expression. "Is that so?" Chapter 861. The two of them were eager to get married all along, but because Yi Wanwan called off the engagement abruptly during the birthday banquet, Gu Yuzhe was caught by surprise and was embarrassed, so it had to be pushed back. Fearing that Yi Wanwan would be affected, Yi Mu Fan hurriedly comforted her. "Wanwan, it isn't worth getting upset over that kind of man. If you're unhappy, I'll help you beat him up." Feeling helpless but at the same time moved, Yi Wanwan replied, "Go, I'm no longer a kid." She then blinked and looked at Yi Mu Fan. "Go, have you ever heard of this saying, 'You're constantly thinking of your ex only because your new lover'?" Yi Mu Fan realized he knew the ending when he heard the beginning, so he interrupted her with a straight face. "Because the new lover isn't good enough, right?" "Yeah, well, you don't have to show off anymore, okay?" "I got it, I know your new lover is much better." Yi Wanwan laughed. "What are you thinking? Since when have I showed off?" "I just wanted to say that I constantly thought of my ex because my brain was damaged in the past, but I have my IQ back right now. Of course, the fact that my baby's so good-looking that he's capable of causing the downfall of a city is also one of the main reasons." Yi Mu Fan, she just went in one big circle. "Isn't this still showing off?" Late at night, Jean Garden. Si Han was in the living room dealing with some business. It wasn't known when he started using the living room for work. Su Yi was standing at the side respectfully. Lately, Master's health had improved slightly. There was suddenly more work at the company now, and with Miss Wanwan so busy as well, the two of them hadn't met up as regularly, even though Miss Wanwan still checked in with Su Yi about Master's life. Looking at the profile of his master's chilly face, Su Yi hesitated for a long while until he couldn't hold it in any longer and he said, "Master, actually, you can take the initiative to go see Miss Wan. There should be some element of surprise when two people are together." His master really didn't know a thing about dating and Su Yi was getting anxious as he watched them. Si Han. Surprise. Su Yi nodded repeatedly in fear that his master still wouldn't know what to do. He hurriedly explained, Think about it. Weren't you very happy when Miss Wan Wan suddenly went to the company to see you before? Si Han. Well, even if his master was an iceberg, Su Yi knew he must have been really happy. So, he continued, if you take the initiative to see Miss Wan Wan at her office and bring her a dessert or a small gift, don't you think she would be really surprised? A faint light flashed in Si Han's eyes and the man who called him boring appeared in his mind. Soon, Yi Wan Wan chose an auspicious date to announce the news of Han Xianyu joining the company. In the end, the result was just as they expected. Kai Yongxing remained extremely silent and didn't dare to do anything to them at all. Worldwide issued an official statement and congratulated Yi Bai on his new company. Then they praised Han Xianyu and passed on some good wishes like, "We wish him a bright and beautiful future," and so on, a complete change in attitude of wanting to shut them out before. Chu Hongguang knew very clearly what the public was feeling and that they wouldn't benefit from trying to fight with them, so it was better to make a generous gesture and give them his blessing. On her way back to the company, Yi Wanwan's mouth curled up when she saw Worldwide's Weibo post. On the surface, Chu Hongguang was pretending to be very generous, but he probably hated her to the core and really wished she would go bankrupt and shut down, right? Chapter 862. It wouldn't have been that bad if Han Xianyu left and started out on his own, but he actually chose to join Yi Bai's company. He would rather join this small startup than remain with Worldwide. Chu Hongguang's face really got slapped hard this time. Right now, Yi Wanwan and the others had officially entered their work mode. Today, Yimu Fan was attending an event by the Fashion Association. Fei Yang was accompanying Han Xianyu to Imperial City TV studio for an interview, while Luo Chen and Gong Su were attending a meet-and-greet session with their fans alongside their assistants. Yi Wanwan also just confirmed the film site, signed the lease and was rushing to the office right now. She would rest for 2 hours in the afternoon before continuing to work. She was contemplating whether she should head over to C Corporation during these 2 hours to see Si Yi Han. They had both been quite busy lately, so they'd been meeting less frequently. It seemed like they hadn't seen each other in 3 days this time. Yi Wanwan considered it as she took out her phone, but the moment she took it out, it started ringing. It was Si Yi Han calling. Yi Wanwan hurriedly picked up. "Hello, darling, what a coincidence. I was just thinking about you. Are you at the office? I'll head over and we'll have lunch together. What do you think?" "I'm at your office." His usual, cold voice came through the receiver. Yi Wanwan was stunned. "What? My office? You came to my office?" "Si Yi Han, I brought lunch for you. You can just head over here directly." Yi Wanwan felt as if she was put on a pedestal. Si Yi Han actually delivered a lunch made with love. His EQ was simply increasing at light speed. Yi Wanwan nodded excitedly. Sure, I'll fly over right now. Wait for me. I'm already at the entrance. I'll be there real soon." Si Yi Han wanted to say more, but Yi Wanwan had already hung up in a hurry. Yi Wanwan drifted on the road and parked her car, then pressed the button for the elevator quickly. The elevator was very convenient as it was directly linked to their office. After she went up, Yi Wanwan strode to her own office. The moment she pushed the door open, Si Yi Han was right there sitting on the sofa in her office. He had his blazer off and was wearing a light gray knitted top with a white shirt underneath. He was holding a random foreign language book she used as decoration on her shelf, and he was engrossed in reading it. With the sunlight penetrating through the windows and dispersing throughout the room, this scene was as perfect as a painting. A day away from a dear one was like going through 3 seasons. Yi Wanwan was captivated by this beauty. She locked the office door, tossed away her bag and car keys, then ran over. Both her arms knocked against the back of the sofa behind Si Yi Han as she leaned over and gave him a sweet kiss. "Darling, I love you so much." Upon getting kissed by her all of a sudden, Si Yi Han looked at her with an indescribable expression. "HM? Why is Si Yi Han looking at me weirdly?" Yi Wanwan was suspicious as she suddenly heard a dong from the side. An apple rolled to her feet. Then Yi Wanwan, who was still absorbed by his beauty, immediately turned her head, and finally, she noticed that there were other people around, other than Si Yi Han. Gong Su froze in the same position he had when he was holding the apple. He was completely dumbstruck. Luo Chen, who was initially speaking to Han Xianyu, was flabbergasted, and Han Xianyu was also completely stunned. There was silence in the office. It was completely still, like everyone's acupuncture points got poked, making them freeze. Yi Wanwan's heart was roaring like a volcano about to erupt. Shit! What the hell is going on? Why are there other people in the office? Don't they have other things to do these next few days? Si Han, why didn't you tell me there were others here? Aha! Yi Wanwan whined with her frantic eyes. At this very moment, Yi Wanwan was still in the same caped-on position. Si Han straightened his slightly untidy collar and said, "You didn't give me a chance to tell you." Yi Wanwan. Chapter 863. What? Didn't give him a chance to tell me? How could that be? Yi Wanwan thought about it with her scattered mind. She realized that Si Han seemed like he had something to say right before she hung up, but she didn't listen and hung up anyway. After that, she assumed there wouldn't be anyone at the office today for sure. When she entered the office, she was overwhelmed by the beauty before her, so in the end, she didn't even see those three big, living human beings. She directly rushed over to Si Han and kissed him. She really didn't give him a chance to speak at all. Damn it. She didn't expect that after being so smart her entire life, she would actually make such an amateur mistake. The only thing she could rejoice about was that whenever she was disguised as a man, she never used a female voice. But what was the use of that, huh? She racked her brains to turn the situation around before, but this time, with the undeniable evidence before them, she couldn't clear her name even if she jumped into the Yellow River. The office was still silent. It was as if the three of them had transformed into rocks. Luo Chen was akin to a stone pillar, Han Xianyu was stunned, even Gong Su, who knew about this, was dumbfounded. Although this was the case, Yi Wanwan felt she couldn't just give up like that and could try to salvage the situation a little. Hurry, think of something, think. That time, when Luo Chen and Han Xianyu were at the door and they saw me pouncing onto Si Han, how did I explain herself, huh? Yi Wanwan's brain was racing at top speed while she forced herself to stay calm. She straightened her clothes as she retracted her arm from behind Si Han. Damn. At this critical point, I'm thinking, but I really can't come up with anything. It's so rare that Si Han would come over to visit me on his own. I even locked the door, yet this happened. Alas, Yi Wanwan stood up with a very strong sense of self-control. She didn't have to worry about Gong Su while Han Xianyu could wait a little. The top priority was Luo Chen. Luo Chen. Thus, Yi Wanwan revealed an extremely warm smile and looked straight at Luo Chen. Hi, you guys are all here? Luo Chen, weren't you guys supposed to go to the fan meet and greet? Luo Chen looked at Si Han, who was on the sofa, then he turned to Yi Wanwan. He took a very long time before he recovered the ability to speak, and he replied with pauses, and ended early, so we came back earlier. Gong Su turned and looked at Yi Wanwan. It was a look that read, go on, make something up, I'll see how you're going to cook up a story. Yi Wanwan spoke leisurely, oh, no wonder. I was just messing with my friend. Gong Su, Han Xianyu. Yes. She knew using this excuse again was really dumb, and she was literally treating them like retards. At least she only pounced on Si Han the last time and didn't kiss him, so she could still pretend like they were just playing. But what else could she do now? She was in despair this time. Aside from this reason, she really couldn't think of anything else to say. Black lines covered Gong Su's head. He glanced at Yi Wanwan, speechless. Do you think we're retards, huh? Yi Wanwan, alright, she was simply too careless. Sorry about that. My friend brought lunch over for me and I got too excited. Don't let your thoughts run wild. Yi Wanwan racked her brains and continued explaining. Gong Su couldn't hold it in any longer. His lips twitched and he said, lunch, made with love? Yi, do you know you're making things worse? Yi Wanwan. Darn it, why is my IQ so low? Luo Chen, listen to my explanation. I see. When Luo Chen heard that, his face relaxed and he heaved a sigh of relief. You go ahead with your lunch then. You must be hungry after running around the entire morning. Yi Wanwan, Gong Su, Han Xianyu. Chapter 864 That worked? I thought I was SC or asterisk with this time. Even Yi Wanwan herself didn't expect she would actually be able to hoodwink Luo Chen, not to mention the others. Gong Su stared at Luo Chen and his jaw almost dropped. Luo Chen, are you for real? He pounced onto that man the moment he stepped in, kissed him and even said he loves him. How could this be just messing around? Luo Chen furrowed his brows. What are you trying to say? Didn't you just explain it? Gong Su was dumbfounded. Shit, your IQ is just. Yi Wanwan hurriedly charged over and smacked Gong Su on the head, then she warned him in a low voice. Shut the hell up. She then turned to Luo Chen immediately. Cough, everything's okay, Luo Chen. Don't listen to his nonsense. This guy just wants to stir some trouble. Don't ever listen to a word he says, understand? Luo Chen nodded. Gong Su, who's the one talking nonsense? You're a big fat liar. Fortunately, Luo Chen didn't doubt her at all. With the greatest issue settled, Yi Wanwan heaved a sigh of relief, then she pulled Gong Su harshly and warned him sternly, if you dare to speak any rubbish to Luo Chen, I'll make sure I kill you, you hear me? Gong Su felt like he suffered an injustice. His eyes turned watery as he glared at Luo Chen with jealousy. He thought the person with the lowest status in the house was Luo Chen, but right now it seemed like Yi held a higher regard for Luo Chen than him. What a painful realization. Am I the one you love the most? Why aren't you talking? Gong Su wailed and ran out of the office crying. Yi Wanwan held her head. Alas, the bomb was gone. However, the crisis wasn't resolved yet. Yi Wanwan looked at Han Xianyu thoughtfully. Luo Chen was innocent, and with the trust he had in her, he wasn't suspicious of her at all. He'd believe whatever she said, but as for Han Xianyu, Yi Wanwan pinched her brows. Xianyu, Han Xianyu had the same warm smile on his face and he said, go ahead and have your lunch. I won't interrupt you any longer, I'll talk to you about the film site later. Yi Wanwan, all right, Luo Chen, Yi, I'll take my leave now too. Go on. Han Xianyu and Luo Chen left the office one after another. Outside, before he left the office, Han Xianyu stopped in his tracks and took a glimpse at the man on the sofa. Luo Chen, Senior Xianyu, what is it? Han Xianyu returned to his normal self very quickly. Nothing much, let's go. In the office, after Gong Su, Luo Chen and Han Xianyu left, only Yi Wanwan and Si Han were left in the room. After making sure the three of them had really left, Yi Wanwan collapsed onto the sofa. Beauty. Beauty attracts trouble, finally managed to turn it around. She turned to Si Han and extended her arms. It's all your fault, what are you so darn good looking for? Before Yi Wanwan's fingers could reach him, Si Han said, Han Xianyu. Yi Wanwan retracted her arms in an instant with a swish. She stood up and looked around frantically. Where? Si Han was speechless and continued, did Han Xianyu believe your explanation? Yi Wanwan slapped her chest. Baby, don't take such long pauses when you talk, all right? You might scare me to death. Si Han, or are you feeling guilty like a thief? Since when? Yi Wanwan scoffed and stomped over ferociously. Since when was I ever a thief? Since when did I steal? Since when was I guilty? You were mine from the start. As for Han Xianyu, I'm not sure whether he believed me or not. Chapter 865. Luo Chen had complete trust in her. He believed every word she said. No matter how unreasonable, he would choose to believe her. But Han Xianyu's thoughts were really hard to decipher. Forget it. Let's not think about it now. Lunch is more important. Where's my lovely lunch? A lunch packed by the great devil was extraordinary indeed. She was simply using her life to eat this lunch made with love. She suffered such a terrible shock today, so she had to thoroughly enjoy this lunch. When the luxurious three-tiered lunchbox was opened, Yi Wanwan's badly injured heart finally healed a little. The torment she went through today wasn't in vain. Yi Wanwan buried her head and focused on the feast before she noticed Si Han staring at her from her periphery. She blinked and looked up. Is it? Han looked at her for a while. Were you surprised? Yuan, quite surprised. How could I not be surprised? I'm so surprised that nearly half my life is gone. However, if that nerve-wracking incident hadn't happened, she really would have been quite surprised, and it felt like they were really in a romantic relationship. She recalled how she had to have a preliminary agreement before she could come out to work, and even disguises as a man to preserve her life. If Han would stop being jealous all the time, that would be perfect. Alright, she could only dream about that. Jealousy might be mere fun for others, but he had the potential to take someone's life because of it. After Yi Wanwan had her lunch, Han stood up and was about to leave. She wanted him to stay a while longer, but that incident happened, so she didn't dare force him to stay. Han pushed the door open to leave. When he reached the end of the hallway, he saw Han Xianyu standing there alone by the window. Han Xianyu made eye contact with him. Han Xianyu was instinctively on his guard and his eyes constricted instantly. Han's gaze swept across him, then he strode away. Basement garage. Su Yi was anxiously waiting for a long time, and the moment he saw his master coming down, he hurriedly probed, "Master, how was it? How was it? Was Miss Wanwan really happy?" Han, "Yes." Su Yi heaved a sigh of relief. That's great, that's great. Told you every girl loves surprises. Han, your bonus this month is doubled. Su Yi was elated. Thank you, ninth master. Seems like Miss Wanwan wasn't just a little happy. Next time, I have to give ninth master more ideas. I have to brainstorm carefully. Dong dong dong. There was a knock on the door. Yi Wanwan, please come in. Upon seeing that it was Han Xianyu, Yi Wanwan's nerves tensed up a little, but nothing showed on her face, and she said naturally, "Xianyu, take a seat. I already went to a few places for the film sites and confirmed 2 of them. One of them is Movie Town and the other is at a bar. There's also one more venue which is more troublesome. We might need, Han Xianyu, Yi Bai, you like men." Yi Wanwan, she was most afraid of, the air turning still all of a sudden. Han Xianyu's sudden question simply made Yi Wanwan stiffen up. Although it was a question, Han Xianyu used a very certain tone. Indeed, that sort of excuse was only able to deceive Luo Chen. Luo Chen was really pure while Han Xianyu just acted pure. He merely pretended to believe her earlier so she wasn't forced into a difficult position. Yi Wanwan let out a long sigh and resigned herself to her fate. You found out. Judging by Han Xianyu's expression, it wasn't the first day he suspected this. When did you guess it? Yi Wanwan asked. What Yi Wanwan just said was equivalent to admitting it. Chapter 866. When? Was it when she clung onto that man when she was drunk, or that night when the gathering at the bar ended and she left with that man? Or was it when she was trying to be discreet but she somehow forgot to close the door and I saw everything? Or it might have even been earlier. When that man was slightly tipsy, he kissed Yi Bai right in front of me, and that was the start of his oath to sovereignty. They were both men, and Ninth C made it so obvious and intentional in front of Han Xianyu. It was impossible for him not to have suspected a thing. If you truly liked a person, you wouldn't be able to hide it. Seeing that Han Xianyu didn't have anything more to say, and it was such an awkward question, so Yi Wanwan obviously didn't probe further. She just said helplessly, "Xianyu, sorry. I didn't mean to hide it from you, but you know it's quite hard to talk about this sort of thing even with one's closest friends, right? I understand." Han Xianyu nodded, then he asked, "Does Gong Su know about this?" Yi Wanwan held her head. Gong Su found out by accident. That guy was fighting for my attention that day and nothing proper came out from his mouth. Ninth C was there that day too, and he was just running his mouth. Seeing that Ninth C was about to misunderstand my relationship with Gong Su, I could only take action right in front of Gong Su to prove my innocence. There was no point in hiding anymore, so Yi Wanwan simply went for the truth. Han Xianyu looked at her, puzzled. Are the 2 of you dating right now? Then what about that girlfriend you mentioned before? Yi Wanwan explained. Actually, I was referring to him. The girlfriend thing was just a cover, especially for that Luo Chen. He's a little sensitive about such issues and I was afraid I might scare him, so I kept it a secret. Oh right, you have to help me keep this a secret. Don't blurt it out accidentally and let him find out about it. Han Xianyu raised his brows and looked at her. You're worried about scaring Luochen? Then what about me? Yi Wanwan choked a little. Han Xianyu chuckled. Alright, I won't tease you anymore. As your friend, I obviously respect your choice and it's your freedom whether you like men or women. You're not causing trouble for others anyway and this isn't something shameful. Yi Wanwan was really touched when she heard this. No wonder Han Xianyu's fans always called him Little Angel. Han Xianyu was simply too kind and understanding. Han Xianyu's face turned slightly gloomy as he then said, but there's something I think you ought to know. Yi Wanwan had a bad feeling about this. What is it? Han Xianyu considered his words carefully then said, one time, Xinjie and I bumped into 9th C when we went to watch a movie and we saw that he was with a girl. At that time, I didn't see how the girl looked like but the two of them were very intimate. Did you know about this? I totally forgot about this. That time, she asked Si Han out to catch a movie together but in the end, they saw Han Xianyu and Xiaoke Xin at the theater. Han Xianyu and Xiaoke Xin were startled by the couple behind them so they suddenly turned back and in order to block her face, Si Han kissed her. Han Xianyu saw the entire thing and although he didn't see her, he definitely recognized Si Han. If I said that, your bro is that woman, would you believe me? Yi Wanwan sighed. That actually he was turned gay by me. Before we knew each other, we both liked girls, so we aren't really considered gays but the people we like now just happen to be guys. Han Xianyu, he turned him gay. Chapter 867. That night, Gong Su asked a bunch of his scoundrel friends out to the bar to get drunk. I'll be a single dog forever, single and lonely. When the nights are dark and quiet, does anyone hear my cries? Gong Su hugged the microphone and howled emotionally. He didn't expect he would be so pathetic that even two men together could abuse him. That's enough. Are the lyrics really like that? Tang Xinghua nearly spat out the alcohol in his mouth from Gong Su's terrific singing. He draped his arm around Gong Su's shoulder and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Dog balls Gong, you're actually still single? Is that candied plum or candied sweet really so attractive? Don't you dare insult my little candied plum. Gong Su immediately glared at him like a wolf cub protecting its food. Iron Pillar Tang, do you know what I truly desire in my life? Tang Xinghua raised his brows. What is it? Gong Su, what I can't have. Black lines covered Tang Xinghua's head. You're just despicable. You just want the thrill. Gong Su groaned. What do you know, huh? What's the point if it's so simple? Your big bro likes the adrenaline. Tang Xinghua, hope you die from the adrenaline someday. After she returned home that evening, Yi Wanwan complained lethargically. It's all your fault for wanting me to dress up as a man. I'm on the verge of going crazy. Si Han took a casual glance at her. Aren't you the one who came up with this? Yi Wanwan blinked. It seems like I was, but that's because you set those unreasonable rules like no attracting the opposite sex, and with my looks, it's almost impossible to do that, Yi Wanwan whined. It's not a solution for me to keep lying, right? Previously, she came up with this idea so she could leave Jean Garden to work and also because she was a part of the Yi family. Under those circumstances, if she went to see Chu Hongguang, that sly old fox wouldn't believe her so easily. It was so much more convenient for her to disguise as a man. So externally, using this identity as Yi Bai was quite advantageous for her but internally. She interacted a lot with Gong Su, Luo Chen and Han Xianyu usually, and incidents like today would definitely happen again in the future. If Han Xianyu and Luo Chen knew her real identity, it wouldn't be a huge issue since these two people were more reliable and wouldn't run their mouths. They weren't the sorts of guys who would want to pounce on any pretty girl that came their way, eliminating the amount of potential jealousy. The real troublesome one was Gong Su. That night, outside her apartment block, she was still in her male disguise and Gong Su was already about to make Si Han explode. Initially, she thought Gong Su merely had short-lived enthusiasm and wouldn't last long. Who knew he wouldn't give up after so long? If he found out she was little candied plum, That image, tsk. Hence, Yi Wanwan concluded Gong Su was the key target she had to guard against. The next morning, Mo Xian came to Jin Garden to do a checkup on Si Han. Before he left, Yi Wanwan called him to the side to speak to him alone. Dr. Mo, how's Agio right now? Yi Wanwan asked. She could see the improvement in his health, but she couldn't really tell his psychological state. Mo Xian looked at Yi Wanwan with an expression that was hard to read. He sighed helplessly and said, Miss Yi, my only job right now is to do a checkup on him once every month, and even at this frequency, I'm still being cold-shouldered and chased away within 5 minutes. Currently, I'm on the verge of losing my job, so what do you think? Chapter 868 Yi Wanwan. Alright. So, what you mean is that he's already recovered and is just like an ordinary person now? Mo Xian shrugged. Seems like it at the moment. Mo Xian paused and stared thoughtfully. Of course, that's based on the premise you remain by his side. To him, you are the point of equilibrium in his life, and if there are any issues on your end, the equilibrium would be broken and nobody can determine what would happen. You know very well what he was like in the past. When you hated him and repelled him, he didn't have rational thoughts or the ability to control his emotions like normal people and was just like an uncontrollable beast. Truthfully speaking, I didn't even believe he could actually act like a normal human being. Yi Wanwan was speechless and mumbled, What do you mean by a normal human being? He is a human being. Mo Xian smiled and looked at her. Did you know that Su Yi, 11, and all the servants in the old residence all made talismans for themselves? What talisman? Yi Wanwan was confused. Mo Xian replied, On the talisman, it says, Hope Miss Wanwan and Ninth Master can be as sweet as honey and everything would go smoothly for them. Yi Wanwan, Mo Xian, as long as the two of you are good, our days will be clear. So Miss Wanwan, all of our little lives are in your hands. Yi Wanwan, is it that scary? Mo Xian sighed. Miss Yi, I'm not exaggerating. Ever since Ninth Master hired me to carry out his hypnosis treatment, I've been monitoring his condition very closely. Although I don't know why he's so strongly attracted to you, I think that when a person cares so much for another person to the point where he reaches an abnormal state, he must really, really love that person. Miss Yi, did you forget about what happened in the past or something? Mo Xian had been wanting to ask this question for a very long time. If Yi Wanwan hadn't had any relationship with Si Han before, the attitude Si Han had toward Yi Wanwan now wouldn't really make much sense. When Yi Wanwan heard that she said, Did I lose my memory? I don't think so. I definitely would have remembered if I met someone like Si Han before. That's true. Mo Xian was in deep thought. He seemed to have recalled something but didn't say anything else. After the roughest period in setting up her own business, Yi Wanwan could finally start to relax a little. Yi Mu Fan dealt with the daily tasks right now, and Fei Yong was currently the director of talent recruitment. Everything was up to speed, and life was stable and fulfilling. This was something she never dared to dream of in her life. Jin Garden, discussion room. During the monthly family clan meeting, the Si family's elders were all present, and Si Han was seated on the sofa in the middle while Yi Wanwan sat on his left, the seat that belonged to the mistress of the household. Si Mingli and Feng Yiping had a straight face throughout the meeting. Since they were treated so harshly by Yi Wanwan last time, they didn't dare to make things difficult for her again. Furthermore, with Si Han by her side, they couldn't do a thing and could only watch as Yi Wanwan's status became more and more secure. They already hated her to the core. The old madam looked kindly at Yi Wanwan and said, Mr. Mu will be arriving next month. When the time comes, you should go together with Agio to greet him. Yi Wanwan replied obediently, Yes, Grandma. Si Ming Li's expression changed and he couldn't hold it in anymore. Mr. Mu is such an important guest. How could we let her tag along with Master? She's a young brat that doesn't know a thing. What if she embarrasses the entire Si family? Chapter 869. Feng Yiping hurriedly chimed in, Old Madam, the Mu family is an extremely important partner of Si Corporation. We should arrange a more experienced partner to go with Master. Although Feng Yiping didn't mention her name, he was obviously referring to Qin Ruoxi. The old madam glanced at the two of them. In previous years, Agio went by himself and it went well, right? In the past, he didn't have her but now he did, so how could it be the same? If Si Yihan brought a female partner along for such an event, the meaning would be completely different. Si Mingli quickly said, "Sis, Master went by himself in the past so obviously there weren't any issues. I'm just worried that someone won't know her manners and treat our distinguished guest rudely. Anyway, Miss Yi is dating Master at the moment, but she's merely his girlfriend. I don't think she is qualified to receive such an important guest with our Master yet." The old madam obviously knew what Feng Yiping and Si Mingli were thinking, but lately, she had seen for herself how much effort Yi Wanwan put in for Agio and she took great care of him. She was also a keen learner and wanted to improve herself, becoming more dependable. The old madam supported her intentionally. The old madam turned to her grandson. "Agio, what do you think?" Si Yihan, who was resting with his eyes shut, opened his eyes and didn't respond. Instead, he turned to the girl next to him. "Do you want to go?" Yi Wanwan, what the hell is with this question? If I go, that's fine, and if I don't, that's fine as well. As expected, when Si Mingli and Feng Yiping saw Si Yihan acting like that, their faces contorted in anger. The old madam shook her head helplessly and glanced at her grandson. Then she said directly to Si Mingli and the others, all right, it's still early now, Wanwan still has time to learn if she doesn't know the protocol. It's not a big deal anyway. This matter is dealt with." "Old madam." Si Mingli wanted to continue, but too bad. The old madam and Si Han were firm on this and there was no place for him to speak. Si Mingli sat there with his gloomy expression. His skinny face was twitching. Darn it. It's been so long. Why isn't this ** dead yet? Didn't they say he wouldn't live more than 6 months? It's almost over 6 months already. Ever since he received news that Si Han was dying, he suppressed himself and waited day by day. He was waiting for the day Si Han died, but who could have known that the disease hadn't attacked his vitals and as a result, Si Han was getting better each day instead. As long as this bastard was alive, he would have to live like a dog in the Si family and continue to be submissive. Also, he hadn't taken revenge on this bloody bitch Yi Wanwan for crippling one of his son's legs and he could only suppress his anger. He couldn't even touch a single strand of her hair. The old madam said to Si Han, "Agio, I'll hire a teacher to train her on the etiquette, all right?" Si Han, "No need." The old madam said sternly, "This is necessary. It's good for Yi Wanwan to learn more and she will use these skills in the future." Si Han replied, "No need for a teacher. I'll train her myself." "Yi Wanwan, you're trying to stuff old madam with dog food too? That's enough." "This child," the old madam laughed. She felt relieved, seeing how the two children were getting along well. Vagio's health could get better. Meeting adjourned. After they were done with the meeting, Si Han looked at the time on his watch and announced the end of the meeting. Si Han listened to the old madam while he stood up, but the second he stood up, his face turned pale and his body stiffened. "Agio, what is it?" When they noticed that Si Han was acting differently, the old madam and Yi Wanwan looked at him at the same time. Si Han raised his arm like he wanted to say that he was fine, but when he was about to speak, he spat out a mouthful of fresh blood and his face turned paler. After that, there was a resounding bang as he fell backward. "You, Master!" Yi Wanwan's eyes constricted. The old madam and all the elders present were in shock and the place was in chaos. Chapter 870. Nobody expected Si Han would spit out blood and faint all of a sudden. Even Si Mingli and Feng Yiping were stunned. Master! Doctor! Where's the doctor? Get Doctor Sun right away." All the elders at the scene were in a panic and surrounded Si Han. "Move! Don't crowd him!" Yi Wanwan snapped, then helped Si Han sit up steadily with her delicate body. "Agio! My Agio! What is happening?" Hurry and get the doctor." The old madam was completely out of her wits. She was on the verge of collapsing and almost fainted with him. Yi Wanwan instructed the maids to take care of old madam while she helped Si Han to the bed and checked his heartbeat and pulse. Grandma, don't worry. Dr. Mo and Dr. Sun did a full body checkup for Agio a few days ago. There shouldn't be any major issues. Before the old madam could speak, Si Mingli jumped in like an arrow. Rubbish. He just spat out blood and you said it's not serious? What's serious to you then? Before, Dr. Sun already said Master wouldn't live more than 6 months and could get an attack anytime. Once there's an attack, it could endanger his life, but you stopped him from getting the surgery and kept boasting that you could help Master recuperate. I wonder what evil intentions you have. Is this the so-called recuperation you mentioned before? Feng Yiping sighed within the crowd. We tried so hard to convince Master to go for the surgery and quickly transplant the organs, but Master lost his mind to this woman. He refused to listen to anything we said. Great, now things are like this. The other elders looked coldly at Yi Wanwan. What should we do now? Hurry up, tell the servants to contain the news. Don't let outsiders know about this. Otherwise, the entire family would be in chaos. The Si family could be destroyed from this woman's hands. Yi Wanwan didn't care about the people jabbering on and on. She was focused on monitoring Si Han's condition. Lately, she learned a little from Dr. Sun and knew the 4 ways of diagnosis: look, listen, question, and feel the pulse. Furthermore, she had been by Si Han's side these past few days while the 2 doctors checked on him and his condition was extremely stable. For Si Han to get poisoned and whatnot, that was impossible. His diet was strictly controlled, no less than nobles in ancient times, and those people wouldn't have the guts to do this sort of thing anyway. Actually, from a medical perspective, vomiting blood might not be an entirely bad thing, maybe? Si Mingli put on a heartbroken expression and looked at old madam and Si Ming Rong. Sis, second brother, do you guys see this girl's true colors now? Si Ming Rong never liked Yi Wanwan from the beginning, but lately, he noticed that Si Han's health was improving, so his attitude towards her improved slightly. When he saw this scene, he couldn't take it any longer and ordered her sternly, Miss Yi, please leave. Yi Wanwan tightened her fingers around Si Han's cold fingers. At this moment, a servant's voice came from the door. Dr. Sun is here. Dr. Sun is here. With Dr. Sun around, she didn't have a reason to be there anymore, and the most pressing issue right now was getting Sun Bai Chao to check up on Si Han. Yi Wanwan slowly released Si Han's fingers and stood up to make way for Sun Bai Chao. Chapter 871. In order for Sun Bai Chao to focus on making a diagnosis, everyone left the room aside from the old madam and Si Ming Rong. Outside, a group of people were nervously waiting for the results. Time went by slowly and the elders were pacing around anxiously. Yi Wanwan didn't say a word and leaned against the ice-cold wall. Si Mingli was glowing at this moment. He sneered and looked at Yi Wanwan. Master is in this state thanks to your stupidity and ignorance. Are you happy now? Feng Yiping had a look of mockery. Too bad Master is muddled and old madam is soft-hearted. If Master believed Miss Ruoshi then, this wouldn't have happened at all. This is truly unfortunate. I already said before that if this woman became the mistress of the household, we'd have a major crisis sooner or later. Look at the way things are right now. She hasn't even gotten the status yet, but she already caused so much trouble for the Si family. The other elders were panicking. What should we do now? Nothing can happen to the family head. Si Mingli scoffed. How could nothing happen? The old disease and damaged organs are like a ticking time bomb inside Master. It can explode any time, and once it does, that would be life-threatening. By then it would be too late. I think this time, everything looks bad for Master. With Si Mingli and Feng Yiping's provocation, the way the elders looked at Yi Wanwan turned uglier by the second. If anything happens to Master, don't dream of leaving the Si family alive. I wonder what motives this woman has. We must investigate thoroughly. That's right. Yi Wanwan massaged her swollen and painful temples. Her cold glance brushed across those people and she said, Shut up. It was like she was glaring at the dead, causing one to feel a chill down one's spine. The elders kept quiet for a few seconds then roared in anger, This woman won't shed a tear till she sees the coffin. How could she still be so arrogant? This is too much. Squeak. The door opened and Sun Baichao finally came out of the room. Dr. Sun, how are things? How's the family head? Is he in danger? The elders all went up to Dr. Sun and Yi Wanwan looked at Sun Baichao as well. Sun Baichao spoke with a grave expression. I can't confirm the cause right now. We have to move him to the hospital immediately to do a thorough checkup. Please stay calm right now. Si Mingli said harshly, Sis, how should we deal with this woman? If it wasn't for her, Master wouldn't be in this state right now. I have every reason to suspect that she has ulterior motives and might even be plotting his murder. The old madam narrowed her eyes. She looked tired and trembled as she spoke. Wait till Agio is awake and we'll discuss. The old madam was only thinking of her grandson at this moment. She wasn't in the mood to care about anything else. Si Mingli was upset when he heard that and he glared at Yi Wanwan. H&G, wait till he's awake? I'm afraid he won't ever wake up again. This time, I'll make sure this woman dies a tragic death. And the entire Si family will be mine very soon. Soon, Si Yihan was sent to a private hospital in the suburbs of Beijing. After Si Yihan was sent over, martial law was imposed and nobody was allowed to go near him. Even Yi Wanwan wasn't allowed into the ward and could only wait in the hall. Yi Wanwan sat in the large, empty hall in silence and in the blink of an eye, it was midnight. Yi Wanwan's expression was icy cold as she tried her best to straighten out the details of Si Yihan's current condition in her head. Chapter 872 Yi Wanwan was very careful with everything lately and acted according to Sun Baichao's instructions. She was confident there shouldn't be any problems with Si Yihan's health, but before the results were out, nobody knew what would happen. Could it be that I still failed to change the course of fate? Or something went wrong somewhere? If something really happens to Si Yihan, Yi Wanwan's head was filled with messy thoughts. This man is paranoid, violent, possessive, and is so scary that it's almost pathological. Everyone says he has no humanity. Everyone fears him like the plague. However, when Yi Wanwan tried to understand him, she realized that he wasn't covered in thorns and had an entirely different kind of softness. He was obviously a terrifying tyrant, but he simply compromised with just some sweet talk or a hug from her. When she dressed ugly and in an exaggerated manner, everyone looked at her with disgust, but he said she was still as delicious. When everyone questioned her qualifications, only he asked her if she still wanted to go. He silently laid a good path for her. He took her to that frightful attic in her memory, only to give her his most important token. After she was reborn, she encountered a completely different Si Yihan. In the past, she hated him clearly. She hated him so much that she couldn't wait for his death. Now she was sitting here, afraid he would die. In the early morning, Su Yi and his father, Su Changkuan, walked down from the top floor. Yi Wanwan looked at the two people. What's the situation? Upon seeing that Yi Wanwan was still there, Su Changkuan hurriedly said, Miss Wanwan, it's late. Why are you still here? Go back and get some rest. Su Yi was very worried. Yeah, it's useless even if you stay here the whole day. We're not doctors, and if you fall ill, how am I going to explain that to Ninth Master when he wakes up? The old madam already fainted. You can't break down too. When he wakes up? Listening to Su Yi's words, Yi Wanwan blanked out all of a sudden. She took a deep breath and nodded. Alright, got it. I'll have to trouble the two of you here to take good care of Grandma. If you have any news, please notify me at once. Su Yi, you can rest assured, Miss Yi. After Su Yi and Su Changkuan urged her to leave, Yi Wanwan exited the hospital building. A gust of the evening wind blew at her, causing her to shiver. Hey, Yi Wanwan. Yi Wanwan was walking along the road when a black car, that seemed to have waited a long time, silently stopped. The window lowered, revealing a long-lost face. Yi Wanwan was surprised. Si Xia stopped the car and beckoned her with his eyes. Get in the car. Seeing that Yi Wanwan still wasn't moving, Si Xia's brows furrowed slightly. I have something to tell you. It has something to do with Si Yihan. Yi Wanwan looked at him and opened the passenger door. The car drove steadily on the road. Yi Wanwan closed her eyes and didn't speak at all, and she didn't ask where they were going either. Si Xia looked at her from the rearview mirror with a complex look. After a while, the two of them sat down in a restaurant booth. Si Xia took out a thick file from behind him and pushed it over to her. All she saw was a new ID, passport, flight ticket, and a check. Yi Wanwan looked at him blankly. What's the meaning of these? There was a flash of anger in Si Xia's brows. Yi Wanwan, are you feigning ignorance at a time like this? Do you have any clue what's going on or not? Once Si Yihan dies, do you think those people in the Si family will let you off? Or do you really think Grandma can keep you safe? You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.